Chapter 5. They woke together early as the sun rose and the San Francisco lights dimmed, Haley's nude body lying vertically on top of Hunter. When she opened her eyes, she looked into the eyes of her lover and mate for life. She smiled, and he fanned her hair away from her eyes. "Your hair is long. I like it that way." He trailed his fingers down her leg, and she caught his hand before it went any further. "I need to cook." "You don't have to do that. I always cooked for my father when my mother died, and besides, I need something to eat. I promised Tracker I would cook a steak for him. He likes when I use seasonings." She gave a closed smile and sat up, ready to put one foot on the floor. "He likes the way I cook the steak with just enough blood left in it, not overdone." "When are you going to tell him about us?" Hunter questioned. "Oh, he'll know by now. The noise coming from here would wake the dead. You know those sharp ears can hear everything. Now let me go and make up for dissing and snubbing him." Hunter frowned at the thought of her doing something for Tracker, not because he was jealous of his brother, he had never been before, but because he saw Tracker as a challenger for Haley's affections. She appeared to like him a lot, and Hunter had never learned to share. She attempted to get out of bed to take a shower, and he grabbed her wrist. "Don't go. It's Sunday. I can order something for you. Tracker can cook his own fucking steak if he's that hungry." His voice showing uneasiness, and his eyes narrowed into a shiny glance. "Why are you so jealous? Is that a family trait?" Haley pulled her hand away, stepped on the floor, and scurried to the bathroom. Hunter heard the shower, and turned over to get some much-needed rest. In a matter of minutes, she was out of the shower, and slipping on her dress without a bra. "You're not going around him like that. There is still a moon rapture, and he is in heat, especially since he didn't mate with you last night." "Don't worry, I'll be okay. Tracker won't do anything, not with my big bad wolf around," she said, giving him a hurried kiss. "I'm going in there with you just in case." Hunter quickly found a clean pair of jeans, and pulled them up his long legs, zipped and buttoned them, but Haley was already in the kitchen laughing with Tracker before Hunter could get there. When he walked into the kitchen, they were whispering, as Haley sat across from Tracker, drinking a cup of coffee. Hunter, standing in the doorway, glanced at both of them. They in turn stopped talking. "Don't let me break up anything," he said, walking to the fridge and taking out a bottle of milk. There wasn't a label on it. It could have been several kinds of milk, from cow to goat's milk. "You haven't broken up a thing. I was just asking Haley if she wanted to put up with a jealous, overbearing werewolf for the rest of her life," Tracker said with a raised eyebrow and a non-threatening smile. Hunter moved in Tracker's direction and stood over him. Tracker sat looking up at Hunter. Tracker's shoulders were as wide and muscular as Hunter's, but Hunter hadn't spent his teenage days getting tattoos like Tracker. Hunter was lost in Alaska, getting a different type of tattoo on his body, scars from guns and bear traps. "Did you ask her to marry you?" Tracker said, slanting his head to the side, looking up at Hunter. Haley and Tracker both broke out with a teasing laughter. Hunter's eyes narrowed. He didn't like to be teased or laughed at. He was a serious werewolf, and nothing could be more serious than how he felt about Haley. "If I did or didn't, that's none of your business." Tracker didn't take offense. He continued to smile at the seriousness in Hunter's eyes and voice. "She's marrying me. She belongs to me. She's mine," Hunter said, trying to quell any notions Tracker might have had about Haley. Tracker and Haley glanced at each other, and laughed even louder and longer. "What is so damn funny?" Hunter said, his hair rising on his back. "I didn't know you would cave in so soon, big brother. I thought Haley and I would have to go a little longer in our charade, before you, the mighty Hunter, would weaken and ask Haley to marry you." What? Hunter's eyes darkened with confusion. It was my idea. Haley was against it the whole time. She didn't think it would work on you. She didn't think making you jealous would cause you to see what you were about to lose. Frankly, I didn't think so too when I concocted this plan. The two brothers looked at each other, Tracker smiling and Hunter bewildered. Hunter dropped in the bar chair near Haley, gazing at her. I met Haley at one of those frat parties. She was sitting alone, and I was alone too. I didn't recognize her, because I had seen her maybe twice. Her hair was different, it was short then and now it's long. She dressed differently, more like a woman than a girl. A lot of guys were interested in her, but she wouldn't even look at them. I walked over and introduced myself to her, and she didn't even look at me. She knew who I was, but I didn't know her. He looked over at Haley for confirmation, and she shook her head yes. It's not hard to recognize the Samsa men. Except for a variation in hair color, eyes, height, and age, the faces are about the same, Haley said. Haley tried to distance herself from me. She walked away and sat in a chair alone. I got up and followed her. She couldn't get rid of me. I liked her, but I didn't know why. Then she said for me to get lost, because the guy she was in love with was my brother. At first I thought it was Thorne or Damon. You know what kind of reputation they have, Tracker said with a smile. Well, we are about her age. I never dreamed she was talking about you, big brother. Hunter's hand went to his mouth, and the other reached for Haley's hand. He squeezed it tight. Haley called out your name, and a tear fell, and I just knew I had to do something to bring you two together, Tracker said, looking across at Haley. Couldn't you let us figure this thing out? Hunter questioned with a raised eyebrow. No, because if you didn't declare to her that she was your mate, I would have. Maybe not now, but as soon as I became a yearling, and I could go out on my own. They all sat together, their eyes wandering to each other, Hunter looking serious, and Haley wondering whether he would be angry. And what about your promise to one of Robert's daughters? Sadia, I think that's her name, Hunter said with a closed smile. I was a pup when mother and father set that up. I'm sure that will change, Tracker said with a warm, careless, closed smile. Hunter shook his head, and a wide smile crossed his face. He laughed long and hard. After he stopped laughing, he said, I have to tell Mother. I need to announce our wedding plans to Father as well. He rose and said, Get ready, Haley, we can eat later. We'll stop and get you something to eat along the way. If I remember, you like fast food. A hamburger with everything on it. Yes. You haven't forgotten with extra pickles. Hunter reached for Haley's hand and she stood near him. I'm not riding on the back of that motorcycle, Hunter. You can use my Audi until he buys you a car, Tracker said with a smirk. I'm not waiting for Hunter to buy me a car. I can buy my own car, Haley said to Hunter's surprise. See what I mean, Tracker? You couldn't handle her. She needs an older, more seasoned werewolf like me to give her a spanking when she gets out of control. In your dreams. Haley rolled her eyes and shook her head. Yes, all of 21. Let's go, Haley, Hunter said. Tracker stepped in his way and looked him in the eyes. Tracker was 6'2", wearing jeans and a flannel red and black hunter shirt. There's one stipulation about the car. Hunter shot Tracker a curious glance with a raised eyebrow. You have to take me with you. What about my company? I have that covered. Leave that to me. And I need to drive. I don't trust my car to anyone who rides a motorcycle. With the commotion of Haley being at his place, and what had happened last night, Hunter had forgotten about the two dead lion shifters. He stopped in his tracks. I forgot to tell you about the lion shifters. Lion shifters? What would they want with us? It's not us they want, it's Haley. It seems that a lion shifter got the notion that he could just take Haley and marry her, and make her a part of his pride. I thought you had taken care of that, Hunter, Haley said, her voice rising, showing shock. She held her hand on her chest as if she couldn't breathe. Haley, you can't tell a lion shifter that he can't have what he wants. No shifter can tell a lion that he can't have a female, Hunter said. Then what do you do? You can't do anything. You have to hope that he forgets or is distracted by all the females in his pride, and they convince him that they can't handle any more females or cubs, but it appears he has his sights on you, Hunter said. I can't go with him. I don't love him. We know that, Haley, and I'll never let you go with him. Hunter wrapped his arms around her. She looked into his eyes, and then she finally realized that Hunter meant what he said, and more than that, he truly loved her. But what about your father? She couldn't help but wonder. He's the alpha of the pack, and hell-bent on sending me back to him just to keep peace. That was before I realized that you would be my mate for life, and a part of my family. Wilder will see things different now that you're marrying his firstborn, Tracker assured Haley. My father will never allow you to be sent away. There's no way he would let my uncle turn you over to a lion shifter, Tracker said. My father hates them too, and we are mortal enemies, Hunter said, looking over to Tracker for support. Get dressed, Haley, and rest assured that you will never leave me. I will never let you go. You are mine now. No one can claim you or take you from me. That's because he knows I will take you in a minute, Tracker said with a playful laugh. Haley turned and walked to the room to ready herself for the drive back to Samsaville. She knew that Hunter would never let anyone harm her. She knew that he would protect her with his life, but it was difficult to protect her 24/7, and that was what he would need to do, or rid himself of the lion shifter for good. Chapter 6. Hunter felt drained as if he had never slept. What he needed was a hunting trip, but how could he think of that now with the whole pack in danger? They would never know which way the danger would come from. To be safe, the Samsa pack had to be in the same place, on the ranch as a united front. Lysel would have to call his 3 sons in college to return home to make a stand with Tracker, Damon, and Thorn. These 3 with him were the youngest and some of the strongest and wildest of all Samsa yearlings. The 3 that were off in college were more like their mother, Adrian, and would more readily obey the rules. However, Tracker and the rest hadn't seen a fight they weren't ready for, or a female they didn't want to fuck. These were the bad boys of the Samsa clan, and it was a good thing that they were around to help out, because war was coming, and the Samsa pack was ready and strong in numbers and strong in spirit. When the Audi cruised effortless to the gate of the Samsa ranch, and the iron gate swung open, it was late in the evening. As they neared the large ranch, the dogs were out of the kennel and running freely. Hunter knew what that meant. They were on high alert. Nearing the house, Tracker and Hunter looked at each other. Hunter had recognized the car. It was Devon and Katy's. His heart sank. Haley had fallen asleep in the back seat. When the car came to an easy stop, Hunter opened the door and reached for her, and carried her in his arms after pulling her short dress down. I'll get the door, Tracker said, stepping ahead of Hunter. He rushed to the front door, then opened it with his key and flung the door open, and Hunter walked in with Haley in his arms. Entering the wide foyer, on his way to the stairs, he came across his father. Did you have to bring her here? We have enough turmoil in this family without adding more to it. Hunter looked at him. He had never heard Wilder raise his voice at him, nor had he ever seen a look such as the one he could see now. Wilder's eyes were deep and dark, his forehead furrowed into 2 rows. It was the look of a worried man. Hunter hadn't seen that expression on Wilder since his mother was kidnapped by Bane. That look had grown into Wilder's face, where it threatened to be permanent. When the others heard Wilder's voice, they came out of the dining room one at a time. The first was Katy. She glanced at Hunter. Katy's eyes met Hunter's. She had a cool and remote look. Devon followed her, and he smiled with relief when he saw Hunter holding Haley in his arms. Haley appeared to be exhausted, her hands limp and falling to her sides. She lay looking lifeless in Hunter's arms, as if she was a precious doll a child would carry. Haley opened her eyes slightly, looking up at him, then placing her hands around his neck and closing her eyes once more. "I'm going to marry her. She's going to be your daughter-in-law," he proudly said to Wilder. "She's going to be a part of this family." Haley's eyes opened wide and she gazed around, looking at all the eyes on her. "Put me down, Hunter," she said softly. "I can stand." Hunter did as Haley requested, and as her feet touched the floor, she met Katy's eyes staring at her, and Katy's swollen belly from her pregnancy appearing ready to give birth soon. Haley saw Devon standing beside Katy and reaching for her hand. "I'm more than happy to hear the news," Devon said. "After dinner, I need to see all the males in the library," Wilder said, his eyes searching around and landing on Hunter. "What about the women? Aren't we entitled to hear what will concern all of us?" Haley said. Wilder shot a glare at Haley, one eyebrow raised. Haley had never been afraid of a man nor werewolf in her life, but Wilder scared the hell out of her when his deep blue eyes fixed on her. He said more from silence than most humans or animals would say with conversation or howls. Then his haunting blue eyes swung to Hunter. Wilder turned and walked away. Tracker and Hunter didn't know what to expect, but it wouldn't be pretty. Wilder wasn't known for light conversation. Hell, he wasn't known to talk very much. What he'd said today was more than most of them had heard in weeks. Katy walked away from Devon. "I'll show Haley to her room," she said, smiling at Haley and taking her hand, leading her to and up the stairs. Hunter watched the two of them, but Haley thought it was something about Katy's smile that was unsettling. Hunter decided to see his mother first, then meet the others in the library. Adrian was sitting quietly alone at the dining table. She looked up at him standing in the doorway. "Come and sit down, Hunter." She gestured at the chair next to her. Hunter strode over to her and sat down. "Are you hungry?" "No, Mother." "What's wrong with Father?" "Life. It has gotten complicated. He thought that all he needed to do was grow his pack, love me and his sons, my sons by his brothers, and the rest would follow. He got everything he wanted, but not what he needed, and that was peace and to have his family around him. There's a burden from having sons. He didn't expect a pack with only one female. Nothing has gotten easy for him. It has only become harder," Adrian said, her voice soft, her green eyes sad. "When are you coming back, Hunter?" "But he has Lysel and Drayton to help him. Your father has always been the leader of his brothers. They look to him for guidance. Lysel has always been headstrong and a warrior. He doesn't know when to seek peace, whereas Drayton will do whatever Wilder says, and that annoys Lysel. Wilder's sons have been fighting, and that makes your father unhappy. Lysel has more sons than Wilder, and he taunts Wilder about that all the time." Adrian lowered her head with a small smile, as if she was hiding a secret. Hunter stood passing his hand over his mother's hair. "Don't worry, Mother. Things will get better." "I don't see how it can. Wilder has been depending on having Lysel and my sons to help with the war that's coming from the Alaskan clan, and now we have the lion shifters stalking our family. We've tried to call your brothers at school, but we can't get in touch with them. We don't dare leave the compound now. It's too dangerous." Hunter held his mother's hand. He didn't like seeing her upset. He didn't like that she looked worried. Her beautiful young face wore the look of an older woman. "I have to go to this meeting, Father has called." He began to walk away, still holding on to Adrian's hand until she released it. When he strolled into the library, he was surrounded by Lysel and Drayton, who were standing near the mantel of the fireplace. One stood to the right of Wilder's wingback chair, and the other to the left. It was like a family portrait. Across from them on the large leather sofa sat Devon, Hunter's twin. Flanked by him were Thorn and Damon, and standing behind the three was Tracker. As Hunter entered the room, Thorn and Damon stood. "Sit." "We don't have time for formalities," Wilder said, his eyes dark and scanning the room. "Where is Robert?" "I'm here," he said, entering the room. "Where are the others?" "They will be here shortly," Lysel said. "They can't just pick up and leave school as soon as we have a minor problem." Lysel didn't tell Wilder that he hadn't located them yet. "You call lion shifters at our door, and the Alaskan werewolves declaring their independence of our pack. Soon the Alaskan wolves will be at our door as well. I hope not at the same time as the lion shifters. And, did I forget to mention the lion shifters are here already?" He gazed at Lysel. "Thorn and Damon saw to that," Wilder said, his tone dry, lifeless and cold. "What were we to do, Uncle?" Thorn asked. Wilder reeled his head in Thorn's direction. "You did what you had to do. You are alive. Few are alive who have tangled with lion shifters," Lysel said. "That's because they weren't yet cubs," Drayton added. Thorn and Damon slumped down. Silence hung in the room, but the silence was broken by Wilder. "We can all hole up here and have a united front to fight them off, or we can take the war to the lion shifters and the Alaskan clan." "Or we can give him the girl," Devon said. Hunter walked over to the right of Devon and stood over him. "She will be my wife, my mate. Isn't that what you wanted?" Hunter's eyes deepened, the hair on his back rising. "Devon, have you learned nothing?" Wilder questioned. "With lion shifters they will never stop. Even if we give her to him, he will hunt us down to the last of our kind and kill us. We have to kill him first. We have no choice. The question is, do we wait, or do we take the fight to him?" "I say we take the fight to him," Lysel said. His sons agreed. All the werewolves believed this to be the best course of action. Robert, who was standing quietly listening, said, "Have you thought about the consequences of your decision? He has concealed himself enough that no one knows he's a shifter. They see him as a human, one of theirs. If we go around killing his entire pack, then the humans will chase us and come for us, as if we're wild animals." The room once again became quiet. "You're not one of us, Robert. You're a human," Tracker said. Robert turned with his mouth in a hard line. He knew Wilder and his brothers wouldn't let anyone attack him, but the younger werewolves were too unstable for him to know what they would do. "Tracker, remain quiet until you become a yearling. I hope by then you will have learned something," Wilder said. Tracker apologized by way of a nod to Robert and a look. Robert understood and accepted his apology. Tracker was a pup when Robert had saved his father's life. Robert had saved all their lives in one way or another. "We are damned if we do and damned if we don't," Lysel said. His head went up, and he took a long hard breath as if he was ready to howl, and blew out the breath. "Then, we have to choose the lesser of the two evils, and hope we can withstand the fallout." "I agree," Wilder said. He needed Adrian. He had been without her reassurance. He needed to hold her in his arms, and he needed her to make love to him. His need for sex came after life and death decisions, not before. He stood and walked out of the room. Wilder found Adrian sitting in the dining room, staring at a plate of uneaten food. She glanced up when she saw his shadow descend over the table, from the sun coming in from the open window. He took her hand, and she, knowing his behavior, looked into his eyes. She saw his unquenchable desire for her. She stood without a question, and they walked out together. During these times where everything was in turmoil, she needed him as well. Together, they would rid themselves of the troubles they felt about their family. Maybe getting lost in each other's bodies would wash away their built-up sexual tension and bring them back to their time in the cave, when it was only them and no one else, neither Lysel nor Drayton. Maybe they needed a few hours together lying close, to lessen the raw passion that they both felt for each other, where Adrian could abandon herself to Wilder's raging turbulence of sex and love.